Hello and welcome to Solidworks Station. My name's Stuart and I'm going to be taking you through the fourth tutorial on Solidworks on this particular model, which will look at rendering. We'll look at identifying some mass properties behind this particular part, and we'll also be looking at creating drawings from this part as well. So let's get started. The first thing, a little bit of a recap from last lesson. What we did is we looked at just improving this particular edge by placing a little bit more of a radius fillet on these two edges. We also looked at placing an extruded cut of 30mm diameter through this face, and we looked at creating a extruded cut through this face of 15mm in diameter, and we also included a M16 1.5 thread through all of that particular extruded cut. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at rendering this as a finished product. So we need to first right click on one of these tabs and just ensure that the render tools option is selected. So I'm going to left click on this. You'll notice now that render tools appears in the tabs at the top. I also need to go into the SolidWorks add-ons tab by left clicking and just ensure that Photo View 360 is selected. So I'm going to left click on that. It's turned grey, so I know it's selected, and it also appears here in the top menus. I'm going to go to Render Tools. I'm going to go to Edit Appearance. Okay, I'm going to edit the appearance of the entities in the model. So I'm going to left click on that. On the left hand side, you'll see that there's lots of different options that we can change, and also if we go into the appearances, scenes and decals, we can have a little look at applying some materials onto this. So I'm going to just click on this arrow next to appearances, and you'll notice that lots of different material options become available. I'm going to make this a plastic material, so I'm going to open those up. I want it to be of a medium gloss, let's say, so I left click on that. And beneath this now you can see all the different types of medium gloss plastics that are available with SolidWorks. So let's choose one. We'll go with a cream medium gloss plastic. So I'm going to left click and just drag that across onto the model. Okay, and that's applied that material across the whole of that part. What I'm now going to do is I'm just going to select that as being okay, so I'm going to press on the green tick. The next thing that I want to do within SolidWorks is edit the scene, so I'm going to go to Edit Scene, and again here on the right hand side under Appearances, Scenes and Decals, lots of different scenes to choose from. I'm going to go with a basic scene for this one, and here are all the basic scenes that I can choose from, and I'm going to go with a soft spotlight. Okay, so I'm going to left click on that and just drag it into the modeling area. You can go in and change some of these, okay, as you become a little bit more experienced in it. You can look at floor reflections, floor shadows, turn them on, turn them off. You can align the floor with the bottom view plane, lots of different things here to manipulate the scene even further. However, we are at a basic level. There are advanced things, options in here as well, such as the environment rotation. You can start to rotate the environment round. However, we're going to keep this at 0 degrees, and we're not going to play with any of the width, the depth, or the rotation. There are lighting options as well in here, so you can go to Photo View 360 Lighting, and you can have a little look at manipulating the lighting, background brightness, rendering brightness, etc. As you get a little bit more advanced with the program. However, we're going to just stick with the basics, and we're going to click on the green tick and press OK. Next, you could, if you wanted, place some images onto this, some registered trademark logos, some images, some other decals as well. However, we're going to skip this section and we're going to go straight to final render. So I'm going to left click on final render, and it's asking me to add a camera. It's strongly recommended that you add a camera or at least turn on perspective view. We're going to add a camera. So if we left click on add camera, and what you see on the left hand side window here is where the camera is. So if you just scroll out a little bit using the scroll wheel, you can change this view just by left clicking on the different arrows, the X, Y and Z, and as you move the camera around in this window, the view updates and changes in this window. Okay, I'm going to leave my camera there now, and that's the view that I'm going to get. I could start to change the different types of camera, 24mm, 35mm lenses, etc. However, we're going to stick with the 50mm lens, stick with the degrees, and stick with all the other default options as well. Again, as you get more advanced with the program, you can look at manipulating these further and becoming more advanced in your selections of camera. I'm going to press the green tick for OK, and I'm going to click again on final render. Okay, and you'll now see that the rendering has now completed. I've just fast forwarded a little bit of that just to save the rendering time from being shown. It does take a little while. The more advanced the materials they put in, the more advanced lighting you put in, etc., the longer the rendering will take. This has been quite quick, done in probably 2 minutes or so, and you can see the high quality render that we've got there. Now, if you wanted to, you could save the preview image, and you could save this as a certain render. However, for the purposes of this tutorial, I just want to move on from this and show you how to produce the orthographic drawings. So, to produce orthographic drawings, we need to first save the drawing, which is recommended. So save as, we're going to call this tutorial 4. Save, and then we're going to go into File, Make Drawing from Part. So we're going to left click on that, and we're going to choose Drawing. Okay, I'm going to select A3 British Standard Institute Drawing paper, and you'll notice now that has appeared. Now we can start to fill this in. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. The first thing we could do is over here on the view palette, you can see that the views that are available, I can start to drag these in. So I would like to start off with a front view. So I'm going to get my front view. I'm going to drag that into the drawing area. If I move my mouse up now, I will get a front view, sorry, a top view. If I move my mouse to the right, I'll get a side view. And if I move my mouse to this top corner, I'll get my isometric view as well. Now, I'm just going to press on the green tick. Let's say, for example, that you wanted to increase the scale of these. You could by just left clicking on the viewport. If you scroll down to scale, you can see currently it's a scale of 1:2. We can use a custom scale, and we could use that at 1:1, let's say, and it would scale your drawing up. And that's a little bit too big for this particular drawing sheet, so we're going to go back to the 1:2. You can now start to smart dimension this up by going into Sketch, Smart Dimension. I'm not going to fully dimension this up, but I will show you a quick overview of how to do it. It's exactly the same as you would do in the part or assembly. Once you put your dimension in, it would be a good idea perhaps to centralize that dimension. Let's say if the 80 was over here, for example, good idea to centralize it so it's to British standards, and you can do that over here, center dimension. You can also look at manipulating the decimal points, how many zeros you have after the decimal point under tolerance and precision. Let's say none for this example. And you can place on as many dimensions as you need. If you want a certain view to look a little bit differently, you can by clicking on, let's say, this isometric. And under here, display style, let's say I want this one shaded with edges. I can left click on that, green tick, and that will appear on my drawing sheet. If you want hidden lines to be available, you can left click on the viewport, you can go to display style, and you can click on hidden lines visible, left click on that, and it will show you all the hidden lines for that particular view. The final thing that I want to mention is down here, filling in your title block. That's very, very simple to do. You go to the annotation tab, you can click on note, for example, and under here, name drawn, just left click, type in whoever's drawn it, put in your text height, and you can move that to wherever you need it. It's quite straightforward. Weight. This is quite interesting. If you need to know the weight of the product, you can do that by going into your model. You can go to the Evaluate tab, and under Mass Properties, if you just click on that, you'll get the mass of your product here. Okay, 281 grams. There are other bits of information in there as well that might be of interest, but that's where you get the mass of the product from. Don't forget to apply a material to that. So where it says material here, not specified, if you just right click and go to edit material, alternatively you can start to select what material it was. So if we went to edit material, okay, and we scroll down, we find our plastics, and we choose ABS plastic, for example, apply, and close that. Now you'll see that ABS is there now as the material. You could now go back into the Evaluate tab, Mass Properties, and that may have an impact on the mass once you've selected a particular material. Let's go back onto our drawing. And that concludes the final tutorial for this particular model on SolidWorks. We've looked at how to render, how to apply a material. We've looked at how to place drawings from different views onto the drawing page, and we've also looked at how to complete our title block. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you very soon in a new SolidWorks tutorial where we'll look at creating a new, more advanced part. Thanks very much, and see you soon.